Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Election Night in America. We are back. Elections tonight, major elections, the runoff for, the Chicago mayoral race, where about a month ago now, incumbent Mayor Lori Lightfoot fell in the primary, finishing in third place behind Paul Vallas and Brandon Johnson, with those two heading to a runoff tonight. We also have the Wisconsin Supreme Court election tonight, that official election between Democrat Janet Protasevich and Daniel Kelly, the former justice who fell recently to lose a seat on the Supreme Court in Wisconsin himself. This is a big night, folks. This is a big deal. I know I totally botched Miss Protasiewicz's name there. I apologize. That Protasiewicz's.
Aren't you
I
Polish
know.
yourself?
I'm the Polish guy.
I would like.
It got the W's. It gets confusing when it's the W's.
I thought it was Protasewicz.
Protasewicz. Yeah.
I've never even tried to pronounce it.
Janet Protasewicz and versus Daniel Kelly. Those polls close at 9 o'clock tonight Eastern time. So those polls have not yet closed. However, we are hoping to have some sort of results in Chicago soon. We won't have them by war, but we are expecting to have some type of general results in here relatively shortly, like we had for the runoff. That's obviously the hope here. So otherwise, we're going in for this here. It is now time. Welcome to our two hosts as well. I am Joe Szymanski, joined tonight by two of the fellow article writers and editors as well. We have Kraz Grenitz. Kraz, welcome to the show tonight. He'll be following along with our numbers results as well as updating from our Twitter. So he won't be as loud tonight, but we also, very importantly, have our own fellow contributor, Dylan Brown. Welcome to the show tonight, Dylan. Good to have you back. Obviously, it's been a big news day. It's been a big election day. What's been your thoughts so far, though, on these two races?
I haven't followed the Wisconsin Supreme Court race all that closely. Just haven't really had a whole lot of time to, but the Chicago mayoral race has been really fun to watch on Twitter, at least. Very normal discourse. This seems like people are painting it as a referendum on the Democratic Party's approach to criminal justice reform. I think that's a little overblown, but it's interesting.
And as you talk about that, Dylan, we do have our first results dropping in right now. We have Paul Vallas, Mr. Vallas, the former public school executive. He has 53% of the vote with around 59,200 votes, while Brandon Johnson, the county commissioner and union organizer, Johnson, of course, has notoriously gotten huge backing from America's teachers unions and the Chicago public school unions. He has 47% of the vote, which adds up to around 52,700 total votes for Johnson. So that's the first, I believe it's around the first 19% of the votes are in Paul Vallas, up 53-47 in those first ballot drops here. Big news on that regard. Dylan, obviously this has been a race drawn once again. It is, of course, between two Democrats, as to be expected in Chicago. But, of course, both drawn along moderate lines. And you mentioned, of course, earlier, this seems to be drawn on how to deal with crime and policing. Vallas has been pretty notorious in saying that the police needs more funding and needs to be a harsher crackdown on crime. Well, Johnson, who hasn't necessarily been opposing that, has come under criticism for prior comments referencing the Fund the Police and support for the Fund the Police movement. Obviously we don't have any ward results. We were told those aren't going to happen until much later night. So these are just kind of the issue here. We have these results. We won't know where they come from until much later in the night.
Well,
But once we have them down,
the Chicago Board of Elections gave us some turnout numbers overall. It was only 33% turnout in the city today for the mayor's race. Remarkably even age distribution, more so than usual, which is interesting. But yeah, pretty low turnout. This drop probably represents about a fifth of the total votes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think this race has been more about education than crime, but I mean, it's hard to ignore the crime undertone. Obviously, you don't know without the ward information how this sort of breaks out, but the early votes I just saw something about this. The early votes in the initial primary were more favorable to Vallas and became more pro-Johnson as the night went on. So if that trend held, then I wouldn't feel super comfortable, but it's only 20% of the vote.
Yeah, absolutely. Understandable. Like I said, folks, we don't have any ward results on this. We won't have any ward results on this. Obviously, this is going to be kind of just a drop-by-drop type of result here. Paul Vallas in the early lead, 53-47. Of course, though, the big race tonight is going to be in Wisconsin. We'll have those results hopefully starting to drop in around 39 minutes when polls close in the state of Wisconsin. This is a key race for the key reason here. Obviously, you know that if Democratic aligned candidate Janice Protasiewicz wins this race, that means ideologically the Supreme Court of Wisconsin will have flipped from conservative leaning to liberal leaning. That would be a big deal, not only on the issue of abortion, but potentially on the issue of legislative and congressional maps as well. It's expected that if Protasiewicz wins tonight, that Wisconsin Democrats will bring a challenge to the legislative and congressional maps to the Wisconsin Supreme Court in the hopes that it would get those maps overturned and hopefully a more liberal redraw can occur. That would be the big deal. Kraz, you're the maps and numbers guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, people are focusing on the abortion here. I mean, that's obviously important in the immediate term because there is a case working its way up to the Wisconsin courts about the state's abortion ban, which I believe is not being enforced right now because
that is, I believe that is still not being.
I believe that's the case. However, there's a case about it working its way through the courts. That being said, people are focusing on that angle, but if the state Supreme Court forces the state legislature to redraw all the maps or redraws them itself, Democrats will be able to do a lot more potentially than just protecting abortion in Wisconsin. We've seen in Michigan, for example, what happened when Republicans went from a favorable state legislative map to a not so favorable one. They lost both houses. Democrats got a trifecta when originally they only held the governorship. And now they're repealing right to work. They're instituting a host of liberal policies. So that can be really the big enchilada there.
Well, they were also helped by the complete collapse of the Michigan GOP.
Well, yeah,
yes, this is correct. Yeah.
That for sure too. But yeah, I think that's obviously maybe a bigger story. I think Kraz right here. That's maybe a bigger story than the abortion point. Is the fact of the matter is that if these maps are overturned, 2024 suddenly becomes very, very interesting in what's expected to be, bar none, one of the closest states come the 2024 election. I mean, we look at Wisconsin the last two cycles, both 2016 and 2021, the closest states, bar none.
New update in Chicago. Sorry.
New update in Chicago. Oh, boy. And, yeah, we're now up to around 48% of the votes in now. It is dead on, 52-48 in favor of Paul Vallas. That's 155,500 votes for Vallas, 143,500 for Johnson. It is basically dead on, 52-48 right now, with about just under half the vote in right now. This is a growing big deal story here. We expected this race to be close. We expected Paul Vallas to be favored. We rated this race as lean Vallas in one of our latest articles on this race here. But like we expected, there's going to be a close race. It's going to be a very narrow and tight race here. as we continue to get deeper into the evening here, but already with 48% of the vote in. Kraz, you're someone, looking at numbers, Kraz or Dylan here, not knowing where these numbers are coming from, but however, seeing these numbers in right now, like I said, just under half the vote in, who would you more rather be right now? Would you rather be Vallas or would you rather be Johnson?
God, that's really tough. I mean, I don't know where these votes are from. And so like that means I really just can't answer this. I mean, there's apparently, how many votes are left outstanding? That'll actually give me
about half.
About half. Yeah. Maybe even a little less than half. I think it's less than half, are outstanding. New York Times has half, but I'm pretty sure the Chicago Board of Elections said there's only about 230,000 ballots outstanding. So
I thought that was Wisconsin. Never mind.
So Brandon Johnson would need to win the remaining 230-ish thousand ballots by. Wait, I can do this. I can do this, guys. So don't interfere with
glad
my
you
process.
can.
Yeah, so he would need to win the remaining 230 by about I don't know, like maybe 5 or 6% if my math is right. Let me see. He needs to net 12,000 votes from them out of the remaining 230,000. Yeah, 5%.
That's not insurmountable.
It's not insurmountable. It's just like, where are these votes from, right? Because like if this was a random sampling of precincts, like the race is over, right? Because like it would just be highly unlikely that he would win the remaining ballot by 5% after losing a random sampling this large by 4%. But like if like all these votes are outstanding from areas that should be strong for him, then like
he's screwed.
Easily win.
Yeah.
So I want to point out right now, I've been told it's about 300,000 votes in right now. There was about 560,000 in February. So, it looks like we're going to reach a little bit under that total. If projections are correct, we're going to reach a little bit under that total. So that's interesting in itself right there. That feels like something that should help Vallas in regards to the type of voters that he has backing him right now. But of course, we shall see, and we'll see how that develops currently as this goes on right now. As I said, updating the Chicago mayoral runoff election, Paul Vallas up 52-48 over Brendan Johnson with what we believe is about 55% of the vote currently in right now from the city of Chicago. Key race that, at the rate we're tracking right now, could potentially be done before and we're saying there's another update now, and yes, there is. We're up to around 66% of the vote in right now. Vallas's lead has dropped again. He is now only up 51-49 over Johnson. That's about a total of around 9,000 votes right now. New York Times is saying about 57% of the vote in, but they were about 7% off last time, so we're going to say probably around 64% of the vote is probably currently in right now. This is becoming increasingly tight, and I guess I would say that's definitely a drop that Brandon Johnson and his supporters would like.
Yeah, I mean, supporters. Well, yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, if that continues, I mean, Johnson's got this.
I don't really know. I mean, it was kind of on pace, but he starts to win the remaining ballots by 4.5%, which is not that different from the 5.2% he had to win them by before that latest drop. So he kept pace there, but he was slightly ahead of pace there, but not like wildly ahead of pace there.
Right.
Yeah, we've got the Chicago Board of Elections having it around 66% of the vote in currently. Yeah. So it's about 66% of precincts counted. We have about, doing some quick math, 1291 minus 855. Got just a bit over 400 precincts right now. About 436 precincts, I think, have left to be counted in the city of Chicago right now. So again, this is a close race that looks like we might get some answers here before Wisconsin closes. Of course, Wisconsin, the key race, obviously, but of course there are some key counties. Dylan, I want you to talk about what I like to call Democrats' nuclear bomb in the state of Wisconsin. I want you to talk about Dane County, home of Madison. Can you explain to our folks why Dane County and why Madison specifically has been such a kind of the reason why Wisconsin is still competitive for Democrats today with some of the trends in the Iron Belt section of the state.
Well, I might need somebody to correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just answering this based on what I've read in the group chat the last few days. Basically, it's really, really, really big and has a ton of Democratic votes. It's a huge metro area. It's basically all the Democratic votes are there.
Yeah, other than Milwaukee, kind of the hub for Democrats there. Big reason for that, of course, Madison is the home of the University of Wisconsin. Madison, one of the largest public institutions in the state, notoriously large student population, which also leads to then a notoriously large professor population and university employee population, which kind of like, if you look at, it's kind of a larger version of Charlottesville and Albemarle in Virginia. Albemarle does not reach the same height and size of Dane and Madison County at all, but this is a still very white, but also very highly educated and very college educated voter base that goes in the University of Madison, Wisconsin, Madison. This is very strong, very large, and has a very large and active voter population, which mostly votes for the Democrats.
Yep.
You see on the maps, it also bleeds out into some of the more rural areas, Janesville out there, some of the more inner rural parts of some of the counties out there that are closer to Madison and closer to Dane County. Also still vote very blue. But it's just a very, very interesting part of the state. And like we said, if there's a lot of good turnout from Dane County, that's probably pretty good news for Democrats. It's seemingly been good turnout from Dane County.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Dane also has been so important because Democrats have managed to continually increase their margin there. Like, it was already a Democratic bastion 20 years ago, but it's gone from being, D plus 30 20 years ago to being D plus 50 or 60 now. So that's obviously big. Also, it's grown like crazy. It's increased its population by 1/3 since 20 years ago.
The only reason Wisconsin has not lost a congressional seat.
Yes. And so Democrats like Joe Karofsky, if people remember that race from spring 2020, have been able to just get absolutely massive margins out of Dane because its turnout is fairly robust. It's super blue. And I think it's hard to overstate how many votes Democrats can get out here. So Biden net almost 200,000 votes out of Dane County, Wisconsin, in the 2020 election. And I'm pulling up the map right now to see if I can reference just how many votes that is. Because netting 200,000 votes for Biden was enough to cancel out, I'm pretty sure, like most of the Republican congressional districts in Wisconsin, period.
Yeah.
Like if you were to select, and I'm doing this on DRA right now, if you were to select basically the entire western part of the state that makes up Wisconsin's third district, Trump only net about 70,000 votes out of there. Yeah. If you include all rural areas, basically in north and northwest Wisconsin, Trump net 150,000 votes out of there. So Dane is enough to cancel out almost all rural areas in the entire state for Democrats, which is why it's so important.
Yeah. So that's kind of the message here. If Dane we don't expect it to be like this, but if Dane for some reason were to underperform for Ms. Protasewicz, that would be a pretty big deal, because if any Democrat kind of underperforms what is now the current baseline in Dane, as Kras said, it has only gotten bluer since the start of the century, excuse me. It's only gotten bluer since then. It's moved from, like 65-35 to, 80-20 now in Dane County almost. It's just been this massive, massive shift. If Democrats fall under that 80-20 limit, though, and it's more, still the super blue 75-25, it's going to be that would make it, that small drop off in percentage points would make it pretty hard. We forget that Donald Trump only lost, Joe Biden only won the state by around 11,000 votes. That 5% drop off from Dane would, in theory, be just enough probably to, send to make Republican the winner in the state. But we do have an update from Chicago. It is a difference of 2,400 votes for Paul Vallas. The time is saying about 73%. Again, they've been about 7 to 8% behind the Board of Elections, so we can say only about 20% of the ballots are remain to be counted here, we'd say.
Yeah, I think Johnson is probably favored. Or
I would say Johnson is probably, after that drop, I would say Johnson is probably favored now.
Because he only has to win the remaining ballots by 1.6%.
Yeah.
And he's been doing that so far. And I'm not sure if his areas are areas that should be strong for him are still outstanding mostly. But if they are, then yeah, he should be favored.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was a very good drop for Johnson, I have to say. That was a really good drop for Johnson. He is still behind about 2,400 votes. But again, that is a very good drop, and we expect the mail-in numbers to be rather favorable to Brennan Johnson at this point. So, again, we have about 81%. So, yeah, getting confirmed to Chicago Board of Elections saying 81% of election day precincts are in. So,
and that's before mail-ins, which are supposed to go to Johnson too, right?
Yes, that's what I was mentioning. Yes, that Johnson is expected to have a mail-in advantage. However, I do want to point out that according to Chicago's mail-out turnout, some of the highest mail vote percentages did come from some of the more Vallas-heavy, white-heavy areas in the northern part of the city. So, don't always let sleeping lions lie. Basically, don't buy into the narrative before we see the numbers necessarily on that. But anyway, Chicago, Paul Vallas only holds a vote now of 2,400 votes as we get ever closer now to polls closing in Wisconsin. We are now 25 minutes from polls close in Wisconsin as we get ready for truly the key race of the night, the race between Democratic aligned candidate Jenna Protasiewicz and Republican aligned candidate Dan Kelly. Of course, Republicans, we talked about Madison, how important, Dane County, how important that is to Democrats. But I want to talk about, of course, right now, the most important counties for Republicans, and that is the WOW counties, Washington, Ozaukee, and Waukesha. Of course, in crucial Waukesha County, of course, kind of the known Twitter meme a little bit there, if you follow elections, the crucial Waukesha County. These three counties, we talked about how Dane kind of cancels out all of that Republican vote in those rural areas in the West, Northwest, Northeast. But you talk about the WOW counties. This is where Republicans can avoid that day drop, and why Milwaukee is still so crucial to Democrats and their victories in the state. But these WOW counties are some of the reddest suburban counties in the entire country. Kraz, if you've got the time, maybe talk about those three counties a little bit here.
Yeah, so
big deals.
Yeah, huge deal. The WOW counties outside Milwaukee. They basically net Republicans a ton of votes, and without them, the Wisconsin GOP has nothing.
Yeah.
And these are counties that have been particularly important in judicial races because they remain more Republican down ballot. And so it's been important for judicial candidates to not just match Trump margins there. If Kelly's matching Trump's margin, he's probably toast. But yes, he's probably lost. But to exceed it, to hit, 60-some% in Waukesha, to hit 70-some% in Washington, to get closer to 60% in Ozaukee. So these are important benchmarks. They net Republicans a ton of votes, but they have been trending Democratic. These are
specifically Ozaukee has been the one that has.
Yes, and these counties combined hold a huge percentage of Republican votes, right? So Democrats have been eager to dig into those margins there because if they can, they eat away at a huge percentage of the Republican votes. I do just want to say though that I think that the other reason why this race is important tonight is not just like the actual outcomes; it's the fact that the Wisconsin GOP 7 years ago had everything going for it. Right. It had near super majorities in the legislature. Scott Walker was governor. Trump had just shockingly flipped the state in the presidential election. They got huge shifts in rural areas towards Donald Trump. They held the state Supreme Court solidly. And it looked like Wisconsin was headed to be the next Iowa or Ohio. And over the last 7 years, they have managed to win, I don't even know, maybe 1-2 statewide races. They're on the cusp of losing the court in a race where their candidates seem to not really care that much, to be honest. And, if they lose the court, it could lead to the loss of the legislature, the loss of multiple policy priorities. So it's just kind of weird that, I think it's weird because we have to take a step back and realize that 7 years ago, it was like the end times in Wisconsin for Democrats. And now it's like we're 7 years forward and they're on the cusp of gaining a huge amount of political power and just seemingly to less fanfare than I would have expected.
Yeah, that is kind of the story that we have going right now. Obviously, this is a pretty big deal.
Well, I mean,
it'll be very interesting to see kind of where this goes. Dylan, I know you're going to want to jump in here on this as well. Go ahead.
Well, in fairness, there is something taking up a lot of the fanfare right now.
Well,
there's kind of a big political story sucking up all the air.
Yeah,
I just want to appreciate. Can you imagine? I just want to this is no one watching is going to understand this. Can you imagine if you go to you're a law student, you're at Pace, which is Pace University, which is a law school in Manhattan. You're at Yeshiva University Law School in Manhattan, something like that, right? And you're man, I want to litigate. I want to be a lawyer. I want to go to court every day. It'd be a great experience to clerk for a respected Manhattan trial judge. Wouldn't that be an awesome experience?
Oh, no.
And then you go and you clerk and you're I'm seeing criminal cases. This is great. Such a learning experience. And then next thing you know, you're the one reading out the indictment in front of the entire courtroom for Donald J. Trump. That would be a whirlwind of a clerkship experience, I have to say.
Hey, I mean, that's something you can put on your resume for sure.
Definitely.
Especially in Manhattan, that. I mean, that's a big law.
I would be in hiding. You would not see me. I would be I would hide out on in Montauk or something, just the whole time.
I'd be like Sean Spicer every day. He was press secretary, just hiding in the bushes.
Just hide in the bushes. It's the only way you can avoid it. Obviously, that is the other story hanging over tonight. Of course, the former president, Donald Trump, was officially arraigned and indicted today on 34 different felony counts, all related to a hush money payment he made to Stormy Daniels, allegedly with campaign funds, which that's kind of a no-no in that regards. But hey,
and then everyone tried to pay it back by falsifying business records.
That too, that bad. But again, as this is America, everyone is innocent until proven guilty in this country. That is the rules of our judicial system. So I would remember and remind everyone that this is going to take a while. Today is just a day in the process, and this process is probably going to take quite a long time, like most other trials do. But
but we haven't talked about this. The judge wants the trial in January, which
that's hilarious.
Is far away, but not that far away.
That's almost. That's what it's 9 months and from today.
He'll be in primary season.
Yeah,
there are really two things here that we should talk about. One is that this dude is spending millions of dollars a month on legal fees. I'm not sure how much money his campaign expended per month on ads, but if he gets indicted in the two other cases he might be indicted in, he could easily be cracking $5 million a month in legal fees. Just saying. That kind of might.
I just want to also point out that Trump only did raise about $4 million in the first 48 hours after his indictment. So that would be considered a problem if this happens.
And
if the situation as Kraz is providing happens, that could be a problem.
Wait, more importantly, $4 million after he said he was going to be indicted, or after he actually got indicted? I think that is important.
After he said, obviously he just got indicted today, obviously.
Well, no, I think it's important to distinguish because he'll probably raise more money now.
Also the more important thing here, if he is convicted on felony charges, I wasn't wrong when I said in our chat, he would lose ballot access in like every state in America. Like he wouldn't be on the ballot. I'm like pretty sure of this. Like you are not allowed to be on the ballot if you're convicted of a felony in pretty much every state.
You can't vote if you're a felon, so you shouldn't be able to be on the ballot if you're a felon.
That would seem illogical, but I mean,
I think there are some states that might like he would be off the ballot, right? And like Dylan pointed out, that he could run a writing campaign. Like obviously his name recognition is high enough that he could run a writing campaign, but like that's got to cost you something in terms of votes.
If you want to talk, like let's think, if you want to talk about the cost of running a national write-in campaign,
yeah,
like the amount. I mean, at least, I mean, to be fair to him, he has like a notoriously well-known name, but like the money that would have to come from that is like crazy.
Right, his whole budget would be legal fees. Like there wouldn't be any ads. It would just be legal fees.
Allow me to make the other argument though, Kraz.
What?
Because yes, he will be paying, let's call it $5 million a month in legal fees, but every day of that trial is a campaign ad for his base.
So well, if they broadcast it, what if they don't broadcast the trial? If they don't broadcast the trial, then no one's going to see it.
I mean, yes, if they don't broadcast it, but as long as there's no gag order put in, and I would honestly be surprised if there is.
We will see if the media has learned from the OJ situation.
No, see, here's the thing.
They haven't. They haven't.
Yes, $5 million a month. Okay, wait. I want to look this up. I want to look up how much money. I want like his campaign spend. I don't care like. Okay, well, maybe I was underestimating how much money was spent in 2020. This website says $14.4 billion. So I guess $5 million a month would be a drop in the bucket.
$14.4 billion by his
billion.
That's obscene.
Although it was only 5.7 billion. Okay, so Trump spent like assuming Trump spent like roughly what his campaign raised, he didn't have like too much left over. He probably spent about $700 million. And just to be clear, if he has to run a writing campaign, his legal fees will be much more than $5 million a month because he will have to start contesting write-in ballots. So I'm not saying he couldn't do it. I'm just saying like that could probably take out 10 to 20% of like his campaign budget on just
holy cow, folks.
Could you imagine?
We are down to about I think around 86% of the votes in now. Paul Valls' lead has dropped to about 360 votes over Brandon Johnson. Is literally that close right now.
Yeah, that's wow.
So yeah, there's that for everyone. Enjoy that.
So I'm sorry, just going back to the write-in campaign thing, could you imagine the absolute shit show that a Trump write-in presidential campaign would be? You thought he was mad before about irregularities. Just wait until he's having to contest mail-in ballots.
Well, the other thing too is that writing campaigns, like there are very few of them, but usually what happens is like it's like you have first what most states do is they will release the total number of write-in ballots. They will not tell you because they don't know who's been written in yet. Then they will go through and they will count all of them. That takes like weeks. Like that's weeks. And then after that, then the campaigns have an opportunity to contest the spelling or what people wrote. So like what would happen, right, is like we would see in Michigan something like Joe Biden, 2 million votes, write-in ballots, 2,050,000. Okay, well, if we have to now wait weeks to find out whether more than 50,000 of those are for candidates other than Trump, because if they are, then he loses. So like you would have to wait weeks, literal weeks.
Okay, so as fun as this is to imagine and as much chaos as there would be, what would probably happen if Trump got convicted on these charges is that at least red states and probably some of the swing states would pass some kind of legislation allowing him to run. I think that's all.
States passing this. Like Republicans control 0 swing states at the state government level. So this is not like some red states would. Some red states would pass something for him, but like he doesn't need that though. He'd win writing campaigns in those red states anyway. So like it's not that
he
like
needs to win like actual. Swing states.
Well, hey, Wisconsin could have got it, assuming the Supreme Court goes his way.
Um,
I don't know. I just, as chaotic as the write-in campaign would be, I can't see that being the route this goes.
I don't think so. I mean, I think another option would be that Trump gets some red states to change the rules for him, and then in the swing states, the GOP puts up a puppet candidate who basically tries to win, and then if that puppet candidate and Trump combine to deny Biden an electoral majority, then it gets thrown to the House of Representatives. But that's somewhat of a risky strategy because I actually don't know if Republicans would control the 26 House delegations necessary to give themselves the presidency in that case.
Question,
what?
Chris. Could he just run with a puppet president and be the VP? Would he require ballot access as a VP?
Yeah, I think he would. I think he would because you can't
Carter Lake for president. Carter Lake for president.
You can't get around. Like my understanding, my understanding is you can't get around like ballot access rules by just putting to think about it this way, right? You can't be president if you weren't born in the United States, or if you weren't born a citizen, I should say, right? Okay. You can't get around that by making somebody who wasn't born a citizen Speaker of the House and then just having people in front of them resign, right? It doesn't work like that. That won't happen.
No, sure, but that's a constitutional issue versus state ballot access.
My understanding is these ballot access rules are you just literally can't be on the ballot. I just don't think that they would let the VP be on the ballot.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe it would be a write-in campaign would be kind of funny, but I imagine
so fun. Can you imagine?
I kind of.
Can you only imagine
the content? Could you imagine the content?
Well, it'd be kind of interesting because if there are states where the write-ins total are less than Biden, he would just auto win. They would obviously count the write-ins, but we would just call those immediately because there'd be no dispute, right? It'd be mathematically impossible for Trump to win. Versus could you imagine if it came down to write-in ballots in Wisconsin?
It comes down to one write-in vote. Somebody voted for Darth Vader. Somebody voted for Darth Vader, got 100 write-in votes, and that swung it.
I think
actually, let's see. I want to check something. Let's see what the write-in votes were for governor in Pennsylvania this year.
Come on, just get Doug Mastriano to run for everything.
Yeah, hey, you never fucking know.
Okay, so here's the math, is that as of right now, if Republicans ran a puppet candidate who denied Biden the 270, Democrats control 21 House delegations, as far as I can tell. And there's, sorry, now I need to recount these. Okay, there's 1, 2, I think there's 3 ties. So Republicans do have a majority of House delegations right now by the slimmest of margins.
Do they need the House delegation or just a majority in the House?
No, they need the majority of the House delegations by state.
Oh, that's an odd rule.
It's an extremely odd rule.
I just assumed it was the majority in the House.
No.
And that would make too much sense.
Yeah. All right, polls are about to close. 6 minutes.
Hooray! So just as an update for everyone, as Kraz mentioned, we get in here 6 minutes until polls close. In Wisconsin, in Chicago, in the mayor race, 360 votes between Paul Vallis and Brandon Johnson, with about 87% of the vote in, according to the Chicago Board of Elections. We now consider Brandon Johnson the favorite to win based on the numbers that we've gotten in tonight. But however, we do not confirm anything. And in 5 minutes, we will see results start to hopefully come in from the state of Wisconsin, where a crucial Supreme Court election will decide the balance of the court. Will it stay at its 4-3 conservative majority, or will the liberals take control for the first time in God knows how long?
Could you
I actually don't know that. If you know that, please let me know in the comments.
Could you imagine if we did national Supreme Court elections every couple of years?
It'd be very fucked, wouldn't it?
It would be so chaotic.
Would not be good.
Personally, I think Supreme Court justices should have to go through partisan primaries, just like presidents, but they have to make stump speeches at the Iowa State Fair.
Yeah,
Which would be,
You don't want to see Clarence Thomas eating Iowa State Fair food?
Yeah, I can't wait to see some lecture on statutory interpretation in front of the butter cow.
Hey, Pennsylvania, we've got our own butter sculptures at the Pennsylvania farm. Which is why Pennsylvania should be an earlier primary state, so that way people come to the Pennsylvania Farm Show in January, and then they can come and stand in front of our nationally recognized butter sculpture instead of Iowa's crappy one. That is my idea.
That proves that Pennsylvania is part of the Midwest.
Sure. Okay. I don't care. Sure, we'll go with that.
Geography is confusing.
Geography is confusing. Culturally, Pennsylvania is Midwestern, but locationally, we are squarely the Mid-Atlantic. With our glorious Philadelphia shoreline, overlooking the Delaware River.
Hey, I love
it. And it's all polluted glory.
Hey, I love Philly. Besides their sidewalks.
I get Philly has some nice places. This is just a general information for anyone who's listening right now. For anyone who's listening right now, the real Pennsylvania / Philadelphia sandwich is not the cheesesteak. And this is not me trashing the cheesesteak. I love the cheesesteak. It is very good. It is very delicious. But however, the real Philadelphia and Pennsylvania sandwich is the roast pork with sharp provolone and broccolini on a nice sub roll from Nick's at Reading Terminal Market. That is the real Philadelphia sandwich. That is where you go to get the real Philadelphia sandwich. It is a roast pork with sharp provolone and broccolini dipped in the pork juices on a nice sub roll, and it is the most delicious thing in the world. That is the real Philadelphia sandwich.
I've never had that.
You got to go. Next time you're in Philadelphia, you got to go to Reading Terminal Market and got to get the Knicks. That's what you got to do. And we do have an update as polls are about to close at least I'm being told we should expect an update here soon. And it's not showing up yet, but it should be showing up soon here, though, that Brandon Johnson has taken the lead in the Chicago mayoral election. It is now Brandon Johnson with a lead in Chicago. Johnson takes the lead in Chicago. It's a big deal for him. It's a big deal for Brandon Johnson. It's a big deal for progressives in the city of Chicago, as Johnson takes a lead with about 88% of the vote, 89% of the vote in. Brandon Johnson has taken the lead, and with that in mind, I am being told to potentially expect a call from Decision Desk HQ soon. It is not official yet, but Decision Desk HQ now considers Brandon Johnson a clear favorite in the race for mayor of Chicago. A considerable victory for progressives when Johnson holds on to his lead here. A considerable victory.
I look forward to the next Chicago mayoral primary where Brandon Johnson comes in third place with record low approval ratings, just like Lori Lightfoot and every other Chicago mayor.
God bless the city of Chicago. Boy, God, do we love it.
Absolute chaos.
Truly indeed. But otherwise, right now, folks, we are less than a minute until polls close. We have polls closing in 20 seconds in Wisconsin. So we are going to do a countdown for you right now.
You're muted, Joe.
Ladies and gentlemen, polls have closed in the state of Wisconsin as we prepare for a crucial Supreme Court race between Janet Protasewicz. Jesus, I'm sorry, folks. I can't speak tonight. It's been a long day. Protasewicz and Dan Kelly, the Republican aligned candidate. Janet Protasewicz versus Dan Kelly. Those polls have now closed in that race as we prepare for what is the crucial race of the night in Wisconsin. Key areas to look out for, of course, for the Democrats will be the vote turnout in Dane County. Heavy liberal Dane County will be a key decider in this race. The home of Madison, the University of Wisconsin. Madison, Wisconsin, one of the bluest areas in the entire country by size of population and number of votes, behind only some of the bluest places in America, like the city of Chicago, like the Bronx and Manhattan, one of the bluest non-major city locations in the entire country. While Republicans will be hoping for high turnout and good results in the WOW counties of Waukesha, Ozaukee, and Washington counties, those are going to be the key places where Republicans are looking to have key majority results here to hopefully pull this out and hold their majority. Elsewhere, Republicans are hoping to see closer to Trump-like numbers in the trending Republican northwest and northeast parts of the states where white working-class voters have been trending towards Republicans. The hope is that Republicans do much better here in this race than they had in the last Wisconsin Supreme Court election in 2020. That was clear of the hope here for Wisconsin Republicans. Obviously, polls are closed. We have no results yet, but we are hoping to see some soon, whether that be from mail-ins or by election day vote. But polls have closed in the state of Wisconsin. I want to go here to Kraz Granitz here. And Kraz, we've talked about it before, but Wisconsin, should we expect mail-ins first? Should we expect election day first? And how do we differentiate between the two?
I think it kind of depends on county in Wisconsin. Like Milwaukee's notorious. They kind of drop their mail-in ballots late at night. But for example, Dane County, where Madison is, the mail-in ballots are just rolled into the precinct results. So there's really no difference. They just roll in by precinct and it's all there together. I would be a little bit cautious extrapolating too much until we have a county that's fully reporting or near fully reporting, just to be safe. That means people might have to be patient. I know it's very difficult, but
Kraz, you want us to not extrapolate? What else are we here for?
Yeah, so I'm thinking that I'm gonna wait until there's fully reported counties to draw any conclusions. But I mean, you guys are welcome to just spout off on the stream and see how that goes, and
but that's the fun. That's how you do. That's how you make it have fun, Kraz. That's how you make these fun.
I mean, I don't put any stock in my predictions anyway, so.
That's true. But
I'm just having fun.
But Protasewicz versus Kelly. Obviously, the story here has been the money difference between the two. Janet Protasewicz has had a lot of money behind her. Dan Kelly, not so much. He had to survive a much more serious challenge in the first round against Ms. Dorough. He won that one to the dismay of a lot of people. Winning that one over over Dorough over Judge Dorough in that case. A lot of people were not particularly excited by that, him winning over Jennifer Dorough. But obviously the hope and pray now from the Republican Party is that somehow, some way, Dan Kelly will rebound and will not have a 2020-like performance in this race and will rather instead have a race hopefully closer to Brian Hagedorn's victory in 2019 or Republican victories prior to that. That's obviously the hope. Will it happen? God knows. We'll see. That's what we're here for. But anyway, polls have closed in the state of Wisconsin. We are expecting election results shortly. We are expecting election results shortly from Wisconsin. We'll have those hopefully sometime soon. Results in Chicago, as we updated you guys on that previously. Paul Vett, we expect Brandon Johnson is now a clear favorite to win the mayoral race in Wisconsin. And Dylan, I want you to talk about what that could mean for progressives in key cities as I go grab another drink of water.
Well, I hesitate to extrapolate too much from Chicago because it's such a weird place. But I mean, progressives are always going to do a little bit better in cities. I think that's clear. There have been some high-profile defeats lately. The chief among them being in the New York City mayoral race with Eric Adams, also a weird guy, but yeah, I mean, I think this says more about the individual candidate than anything else. Paul Vallis faced a lot of criticism for his record on education, for some of his old political positions. I hesitate to extrapolate too much on the ideological civil war from this.
Understood. But obviously, though, it looks like at least the media message will be, of course, a victory for progressives in what is basically a Democrat v. Democrat battle tonight. But of course, now we turn our focus to Wisconsin. Guys, we got a question here for us in the chat here.
Yeah.
Based on how well will Dan Kelly do in Ozaukee County, but I do want to change that. What's kind of the benchmark for Kelly in those WOW counties? What kind of does he has to get?
Well,
to
look. So if we're using Trump as a benchmark, right? Trump got 55% in Ozaukee. He got 68% in Washington and 60% in Waukesha. Tim Michelle's got 55%, 69%, 60%. So, and both of them obviously lost. So he wants to be probably above those benchmarks in each of those counties.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So that's kind of the benchmark in those WOW counties. How about in Milwaukee, though? Obviously, Milwaukee, a little bit more dependent on, significantly more dependent, I should say, Democratic margins there on black voters than Dane County is. Is that maybe the one area where weakness could show up for tonight for Democrats in Wisconsin?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible.
Is that a possibility tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It happened with Rebecca Dallett, not Dallett, Neubauer in 2019. She let Hagedorn, I think, get like 33% in Milwaukee, which is way higher than normal. For example, Trump got 28% and Michelle's got 29%. So around there is where Democrats want to keep that number. If Kelly's cracking 30% in Milwaukee when it's all reported, that's a very good sign for him, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But he wants to be 30 or above, I think.
Absolutely. So those are kind of the benchmarks we're looking here for tonight, folks. Obviously, we'll be waiting. Hopefully, that Wisconsin will not be super slow tonight. We'll hopefully get some results in here soon, or else we're going to have a bit of a boring night here. I'm sorry to say that's just kind of how this goes. But yeah, like we said, the main two issues here are, of course, abortion and the legislative and congressional maps. Those are kind of the two key issues that whoever wins here will have somewhat of an oversized say on. If Kelly wins, could that lead to the old abortion regulation in Wisconsin being upheld? But I think, Krasny mentions essentially even more specifically, if Kelly wins, it almost certainly means that the current maps, both for the state legislature and for the congressional races, will stay intact for now. And of course, also, I want to point out it is a liberal justice that is up next, which means that if Kelly wins this race, the conservative majority is protected for at least the next couple of years here, I think, at least until 2025, if I'm correct here. I think that's when the next one will be. I'm not super positive on that, but I think that's when the next
2025 is a liberal justice, and then 2026 is maybe another conservative.
I think that's correct. But 2025 right now is the current next race, and it is a liberal justice. So if Kelly wins tonight, that does mean at least for the next 3 years that the right wing / conservative majority on the court of the Wisconsin Supreme Court is held on for right now.
And I've been so out of the loop on elections the last few months.
That's law school for you, ain't it? That's law school for you.
Yeah, the second semester has been kicking my ass.
Yeah, trust
I'm
me,
sure.
Don.
Kraz, how about you're in the second semester of your second year. You've only got one more year left, technically.
I know. It's awesome. No, I'm
Lawyer Kraz.
I sympathize with Dylan's plight, obviously. I don't have time for maps like I used to. It's really tragic. Yeah, last semester actually I had my busiest semester by far. I had like hundreds of pages of writing, and I remember that
Don't tell me that.
and I remember it was particularly distressing because I was trying to follow the election in the weeks leading up and get all my I had an absolute flood of writing assignments due right before election day.
I remember we got a call. We got on a call, and you just looked dead.
Yeah, I was dead inside. There was nothing left in there.
Kraz was dead by Thanksgiving. Kraz was dead before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it was awful. And then, so then I remember the whole week lead up to election day was just like constant. I didn't sleep. I was I need to get all my work done so I can follow the election. Someone said results from Waukesha and Dane coming in. So let me check.
Yeah, I don't know if we have them on DDHQ yet, but people are saying Dane County results showing these are only 2 precincts in for each, I should say. So Lord knows what precincts those are. It's Dane County. It's 79-21 for it's 79-21. Yes, 79-21 for Protasiewicz.
Yeah, that would be well, I don't know what percent is reporting, so I'm not gonna extrapolate.
Yeah, like I said, it's only like two precincts, I think, for both.
Waukesha, no, Kraz, extrapolate.
So I'm just saying 79-21 would be equivalent to Evers' margin. Just saying, but obviously we don't do extrapolation here.
No, we
already
extrapolation in this country. No, sirree. But yes, DDHQ was saying that results, I believe, from Waukesha, some early results from Waukesha are in 52-48 for Kelly, and those 1,800 votes. So God knows what precincts.
Lord knows what precincts.
Or whether or not those are mail or early votes, or even whether they're test results. Who knows? We've had issues with that in the past. So,
but Kraz, please don't tell me that the first semester of your second year is the busiest one.
Well, I took a lot of class. I took a lot of class. Don't do what I did.
How many did you take?
Well, I took a normal course load. I took a 4-credit, and I don't remember. No, I took a 4-credit, 3 credits, and a 2-credit. That's a normal course load. The problem was it was all writing classes. I wrote 150 pages of.
Okay.
Don't do all for any of you prospective law school students out there. According to Kraz, don't do don't put all your writing classes into one basket.
Yeah,
apparently you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, I'm looking at 2 writing intensive classes.
And yes, DDHQ is reporting those Dane results we heard about. It is 79-21 for Protasiewicz in Dane as well.
I'm seeing results from Waukesha too.
Yes, I mentioned those already.
Just wanted to make sure.
Oh, okay. No, but the Times has a little bit more up now. With about 3% of the votes in from Waukesha, it's 60-40 the Kelly now. Over Protasiewicz in Waukesha. So that adds up to about a 51-49 for Protasiewicz right now, which just kind of tells you how blue Dane County is.
Yeah, somebody said, I'm trying to see what towns in each of these places are reporting, but I can't really tell. Oh, yeah, that's gotta be. Okay. Oh, new drop in Chicago, maybe.
Johnson up a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Some people on Twitter were getting excited because Heartland Village in Waukesha appears to be won by Protasewicz, which would have been her winning a Trump plus 20 village in Waukesha, but people have pointed out that those are just mail-in ballots.
Would be very funny.
Because there's about 900 ballots there, and the town cast 6,000 in 2020. So I don't think those are all the votes. That being said, how many votes are going to be there? Probably 3,000 total, if I had to guess, right?
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Right, because it probably dropped to like 4,500 votes in 2022, and then so I think probably there'll be 3,000 votes there. But it would be very good mail-in results, I guess. But
who knows?
Yeah. More numbers from Brown County?
Brown?
According to the chat. I'm just going to trust that the chat is giving me accurate county names because I don't know.
At least you're honest. We appreciate that, Dylan. I hope you know that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, geography is not my strong suit. I leave that to you guys.
Yeah, Vernon County. I'm almost gonna certainly say this is early vote from Vernon County. His Janet Protasewicz up 59-41 there. Sawyer County, again, I'm guessing early vote 70-30 there for Protasewicz.
What is Vernon?
Jefferson County 64-36 for Kelly. So this is all
That's
according to HQ.
That's going to be Jefferson. That's election day for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely election day from Jefferson.
Yeah, because that's a Trump plus 15. I mean, I guess it could be mail-in. That would be surprising if it was mail-in.
If it was mail-in, then we are in for a much more fun night than we are.
Yeah, then we just call the raise.
We're up to 50. It's 52-48 now. Times is saying about 11%, and in La Crosse County saying about 29%. And according to the New York Times, 56-44. Protasewicz there.
Yeah, I don't know what that would be because that would actually be not that far off from like the county's usual margin. So I don't know if that's like a smattering of results. I don't know, but
we're getting results. God bless. This won't be a late night.
God bless. But I do want a fully reported county.
We're not dead yet, gentlemen. We are not dead yet.
Kraz wants a fully reporting county, guys. Give him a fully reporting county.
Come on, whiskey.
In November, we didn't get one for like an hour and a half, and I actually had to shake.
I remember you were fiending for it.
I was like, "Are you kidding?" I was actually losing it.
Still, so yeah, let me check. It was La Crosse County. La Crosse was. I didn't realize that it was that Democratic in 2022. It was 58-40 in 2022. I didn't actually know that. That is not a county I expected to be that blue, but guess it is. I had a question about how blue Dane County was. It was 79-21. For Tony Evans, basically. So,
this is totally off topic, but I haven't been on a voice call with anybody who uses Twitter to ask, has Twitter become completely unusable for anybody else?
Not yet. I do want to point out, it looks like we've got some early results from Ozake. Janet Protasewicz up 55-44, about 8% of the vote in. But we also have some results from Dodge County. 70-30 in Dodge right now, and so I'm guessing election. And Dane just dropped a huge bomb of votes, but it's only 74-26 for Protasewicz with about 13% of the vote in. So that wasn't a terrible drop for Mr. Kelly. That was not a terrible drop for Mr. Kelly in Dane County. But
yeah, I can't use the search feature. I can't see quote tweets. I can't check trending.
Yeah, you got to be careful if this is not the city of Madison. This happened back in 2020. Right?
Yeah.
Karofsky was like really underperforming in Dane, and people were like, "Oh, this is so weird. What's going on?" And then like Madison reported, and it was like, "Oh, like, it was like because Madison casts about half the votes in Dane, I think, and they're like, I think it's like 85-15 D versus like 70-30 for the rest of the county or something like that. I don't know what the exact split is.
So DDHQ has Milwaukee, about 20% of Milwaukee results in. Protasevich leads 72-28 there over Kelly in those results. Update in Jefferson, it's 51-49 for Protasevich in Jefferson now, about 22% in. They have the same Dane County results in Kenosha. Some of the 10% of ballots in there, it's 52-48 for Protasevich. In Brown County, the Green Bay area, only about 2%, I would guess, is election day. 64-36 there for
Yeah,
Kelly.
I think Door County, which is typically slightly blue leaning, just dropped its election day. Or no, wait, sorry. That's wrong. Wood County,
55-44-45 with about 51% of the vote.
I don't know what kind of vote that is. So I can't tell
who
you.
knows? Let's see.
I
I'll
can't
check
tell you,
Wood
yeah.
County. Wood County results in 2022 were 57-41 for Evers. I mean, for it's not for Evers. God no. For Tim Michaels.
So that would be in line.
Potentially, we'll see where the rest of votes coming in. But if Kelly, that could potentially be a very bad sign for Kelly, depending on where that vote's coming in from. So we're having a good time tonight, folks. I know you are. I know we are. As we are waiting for these results to come in here from Wisconsin, we have, according to DDHQ, about 8% of results in right now. Janet Protasevich leads 60-40, but that's because there was a huge drop in Milwaukee. That has it right now. Multiple key Republican counties have not yet reported. So stay in your seats for this one, folks. This could still be a longer night.
I hope not too long. I have con law in the morning.
Yeah, I gotta wake up at 6 for my internship. But God knows we will stay here.
Can someone give me a fully reporting county? Oh my God.
Okay. Kraz is getting the shakes again, guys. You gotta give it to him.
Lord, because like here's the problem. You want to know what my pet peeve is that like they don't have any, and I have to look on Twitter, and like instead of getting assessments about like this is what is in, this is what is not, I get people guessing as to whether or not certain municipalities are 100% in, and like they're never right. It's always wrong. People are always like, "Oh, this municipality's reporting," and they're never fully reporting. It's always wrong. But then I have to
subtweeting whiplash. Are you subtweeting the person being passed around in the group chat right now?
I haven't looked at the.
He doesn't have Twitter. That's the funny part right now. He doesn't have.
Oh yeah, I don't. I'm not on Twitter right now, so I have no idea who this is.
You lucky man.
Yeah, I mean, I actually have.
Terrace has a message for you in the chat.
Tell him to text me. He has my number.
No, it's in the comments on the stream.
Oh. Okay, literally shut up. Shut
up. We hate UConn, and Dan Hurley too. Dan Hurley, I hate you. You can go to hell, you bald bastard.
I'm assuming this is a sports rivalry.
Yeah, he used to be head coach of Rhode Island there in the A-10, and that's not George Mason. So screw him. And the man.
Got it.
That's Still no fully reporting counties. Haha, yeah. Kelly has really good numbers in Milwaukee right now with half the vote in, but I'm just going to reiterate that I have absolutely no clue what half of the vote that is or where it's coming from.
God knows.
Lord only knows.
Yeah, that's not terrible in Milwaukee, that's for sure. That's not that great in Waukesha, but that's not terrible in Milwaukee, though.
No, that's why I think a lot of these are off, right? Like if he's doing that well in Milwaukee, he's not doing that bad in Waukesha, and vice versa, right? Like so
Yeah.
that's why I'm like
Something is amiss, Crass. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying? Something is amiss here?
Not a miss. I just think whatever we have reporting from these
Crass, that was meant to be a joke. You were supposed to build off of that. And
yes, something is
laugh.
amiss. There's
Something is amiss.
fraud afoot. There's fraud afoot.
No, that's not what I meant, but damn it.
Joe, you're playing with fire on that one, man.
No, I'm not trying. That was not my goal. My goal was not to do that. That was not my point. Obviously, this election is a fair and free election. This is a free and fair election. In Wisconsin, I don't want to think anyone to think I think differently on that. That's all I ask. kindly and respectively, that's all I ask. Anyways, and let's see what's going on in the real world. The Phillies are probably going to finally win a game tonight. Hooray! Hooray for my beloved Fightins. Let's see. What else?
So that means if they win, people aren't going to show up for con law tomorrow. That's usually what happens.
In the fucks.
Oh yeah, so a bunch of Madison just reported. And
Yeah.
now Protasewicz is up to 79-21 in
Yeah, that sounds right.
That sounds right.
That sounds right. The boom. The big bomb went kaboom.
Yeah, the Madison bomb went boom.
Madison go kaboomo.
So some people on Twitter are basically saying that
you brought your Twitter back.
no, I'm on the Elections Daily Twitter, don't worry. But some people are saying there are fully completed towns that look really good for Democrats. I can't verify that, and I'm not going to try to estimate like how many votes looks like fully completed, because the problem, at least this is why I don't do this, is because when you don't have a metric for what's fully reported, things will look fully reported, but if you're underestimating turnout, like there could be a drop of 200 more votes, and in a small village or a small township, that can totally shift the margin and therefore your outlook. And so then that's why I avoid like digging too much into municipality stuff before like we have counties. I just think counties tend to be a little bit more reliable and less prone to like sudden last minute swings.
When you're staring at the NBC live election coverage map and one of the counties that was reporting goes gray and another one fills up.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Someone give me a fully reported. All of these counties are like 40% right now. I'm losing my mind.
Crowd's going to kill someone.
Every single county is going to be at 40%.
Hey, well, Jefferson is up to 50. It's 78% according to the Times. It's at 51 to 49 for Kelly.
Yeah, I mean that would be total garbage for Dan Kelly.
That would be the end time. That would be the end time.
Right now.
That would be the end.
Kraz's nightmare, an election reform law that says you can't fully report a county until every county has reported something.
Oh my God, I'd actually lose it. I need everyone like it. Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna whatever.
Yeah, I think Wood County is 73%. It's only 56-44 for Kelly. So, unless there's a big bomb of election day votes there, no, senor. No bueno, senor. It's very bad.
Yeah, Dan Kelly would not be happy with that margin.
No, I would not think so.
I think it's funny that they nominated a guy who already lost a Supreme Court seat and thought that was going to go really well.
Yeah. I think we're pretty close to going one way here, gentlemen. We're getting pretty close here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying these numbers are very encouraging for Kelly.
Lacrosse is now 63-37 to Protasewicz with 80% according to the Times.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously still want to see fully reported counties. It's just at this point, the counties that are closest are really big underperformances. So he has to hope that every single one has election day votes outstanding, which isn't impossible. It's just like it's not super likely.
Yeah, I mean, that is possible.
Yeah, I mean, some counties do report results split by election day and mail-in ballots. That's very much a thing. And some do it by, they might even split it further by township. So, like, it's possible.
Unlikely, but possible. Is this a strong turnout? Somebody's asking in the chat.
Is it strong turnout? I think it's going to be really strong turnout. New York Times right now is estimating
like 464,000 votes already. So,
and that's like a quarter of they're estimating like 1.6 million. I'm going to be higher than that.
Hey. Well, who could have expected this? Truly nominating the guy who lost in 2020 was a great idea.
It's almost like you guys didn't learn from
Tim Michaels. My God, the Republican Party not learning something from previous example. Oh my goodness. Not possible, Dylan.
I mean, hey, maybe you guys will learn and not nominate what's his name? The Pennsylvania gubernatorial nominee for Senate. Doug Mastriano. Thank you. I blanked. Maybe he won't be the nominee for Senate. Fiending, Kraz?
What?
You fiending for that completed county?
Well, it's like, I don't know, like, it's just like I'm just trying to be patient because like Wood County is 82% in and Kelly is matching the 2023 primary numbers. Granted, he's not matching Trump's numbers or even Michelle's numbers, so that wouldn't really be good enough. But like, I'm waiting.
Do.
Just gonna do bad karaoke on stream until we get a fully reporting county.
I guess, yeah. At this point, only way I can go on. Only way I can go on at this point.
Tara says apparently no city of Milwaukee results in yet.
Well, that would be bad for Kelly because right now he's already at 30% in Milwaukee County, which is like bare baseline. That's like baseline. And if there's no city of Milwaukee and he's about to lose, he's about to get 22% in the county.
Is there a source on that, Terrace?
What did Terrace say?
He said that in the chat, on the stream that there's no city in
Terrace,
Milwaukee.
Is that from some rando? Or is that from like an actual source?
Yeah, you got a source on that?
Because if it's just you saw it from some guy saying if this is true, then that doesn't give us much. Then Taurus.
Check the group chat. Okay.
Yeah, this guy saying it's Rando from Milwaukee, but who
I
knows?
mean,
We'll
possible.
see.
Yeah,
Possible.
that's not like a source. Like I don't know.
Good news
possible.
for Blake Masters.
You would not believe, folks, but Trump's indictment did not turn out to supercharge the GOP turnout on election day.
I can't believe
I was told by apparently
am
very
dumbfounded.
smart people who are getting paid a lot of money
the
to
populists.
advise the former president that because he was indicted, the turnout was going to go through the roof.
I don't know what could happen, Joe. He hires the best people.
The best people, truly the best, simply the best, better than all the rest.
Half in from Madison. Okay, so Dan Kelly's down to 20.6% in Dane.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that district that state legislative special election is tonight too.
Oh yeah, should I see where that's at right now?
That's at 55-45 for the Democrat with about 53% in right now.
There's a special election for the state legislature tonight?
Yeah.
That's how out of the loop I am. Had no idea.
I knew about it, but I totally forgot.
Yeah, I knew about it, but I blanked because I figured the Republicans just gonna win and won't be close. But actually, I could be wrong.
If the Democrats up by 10, it's very possible.
Yeah, I was gonna say. People on Twitter calling the election already, like
people on Twitter making presumptive calls before there's any real data. Oh my god. Eric will be back, guys. We kind of threw this together last minute.
Sometimes that's just how life goes, folks.
Yeah, it happens.
Oh, yes, baby. We have a fully reported county. Let's go. Okay.
Hooray for Kraz.
Dodge County. I will tweet this. It is Kelly plus 26%. It went for Republican candidates in the primary by 32%.
Cool.
That's it. Good night.
And
Good night.
it went for Donald Trump by 31%.
Oh well, good.
Cool.
They're fucked.
Yeah, that. How did it go for Michaels?
Probably
Dodge we're talking about?
Probably. Yeah.
Dodge plus 31, yeah.
Oof.
Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop listening. Be here.
But yeah, because they want
Joe, sing away the pain. Sing away the pain, buddy.
Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop listening. Be here. You can see, gotta get it about tomorrow. Yesterday's gone. Yesterday's gone. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't
No.
stop feeling your pain.
Oh, another one. Lacrosse is. Ooh, God, that is tough.
It's bad. Yeah, lacrosse is bad.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
How bad is lacrosse? I can't find it.
It's D plus 28.
Is that bad? That sounds pretty bad.
I mean, it was
Yes.
Biden plus 12, so yeah.
Oh God.
Or no, probably Biden plus 13.6. So Biden plus 14. So not quite as bad. But
Wait, what is it? What is it now? Biden or D plus 16?
yeah, D plus 28. 28.
D 28 to 13 and a half. Yeah, I mean that's a pretty substantial overperformance.
Mm-hmm. Like 30. But it was D plus 26 in the primary, just FYI.
Still, that's a 2% overperformance from the primary.
Right.
That's pretty substantial. So, do we think the populace or the populace had it all backwards and the indictment actually supercharged Democratic turnout?
I won't say that. I just think most people don't care.
It'd be really funny if it went the opposite way.
I hate when I put typos in my tweets.
I delete half of my tweets because there are typos in them, and then I just forget to tweet them out again.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? Okay. Oh, now we're getting some fully reported counties. Let's go. Oh my God. Unbelievable. Oh, Marathon dropped all of its ballots at
Good
once.
for Marathon.
Unbelievable.
God bless you, Marathon.
I can't find Marathon on the
North Central.
North Central.
Big rectangle
55,
county.
45.
Oh, there it is.
Trump plus 18. February primary there was. Sorry.
So it's an 8% underperformance from Trump to Kelly.
Yep.
So this is probably pulling out to be like a Protase was +9 or something like that.
Yeah, Kelly's quickly underperforming in like every fully reported county, which is like, ooh.
He miraculously pulls off like a 40% margin in Milwaukee.
Well, that's what happened to Republicans on those ballot questions in 2021 in Pennsylvania.
Yep, I remember that.
They like totally screwed up the rurals, but then they won like 35% of the vote in Philadelphia, and they won.
Yeah, that was great. I remember that.
Yeah.
Wood County is done.
Everyone was very that. One of the last good memories I have.
Wait, so in Wood County they got only 56, actually less than I thought it would be. Where are we? Yeah, we're getting more and more counties. Ozauki with 90% and is only R+6, which is crazy. And by the way, in case you're wondering, Oh yeah, Republicans I think are going to win that special election. The Republicans up by 100 votes with 86% reporting.
Yay!
I think because
not complete failure.
although I will say though, it's Waukesha, Ozaukian, and Milwaukee, and Milwaukee's the one that has the least reporting as a percentage of the whole county right now. So TBD on where the remaining votes are in that district.
Well, hey, maybe Republicans get a pity prize.
Well, they already held the seat, so it's not much. They already held the seat, so it's not much of a prize.
Well, that keeps the supermajority.
Yes, that is true. In the state senate,
it's a pity prize.
Yeah, that would be a pity prize. If it keeps the supermajority, Kraz, that's a pity prize. Damn it!
But if they lose it, then it's even funnier.
New York Times has revised down some of their estimates, so Wood is still 95%, but some other ones are not quite as high as they were before, but they're all still like 90%.
The Washington Capitals have been eliminated from the playoffs, everybody. What a great night for Joe. The Washington Capitals have been eliminated from the playoffs for the first time in 8 years. 9 years, actually. It's 2023, goddamn. Wow, it's been Jesus Christ, 9 years.
It's 2023.
Jesus Christ, it's been 9 years since Adam Oates. God, that makes me feel old. Fuck. What a night for Joe. What a night for me. Truly.
You unintentionally made me feel old by saying it was 2023. Thank you.
Up yours, old guy.
I think we're the same age.
We're all old.
We're all old. We're all old mid-20-year-old people. Old souls. Old souls.
Yeah, I know some people in the chat are saying it's being called by some people. We're not gonna
we can't do that until our overlords call it.
Yeah.
Once the overlords call it, then we will call it. There's your Don't yell at us. Go yell at the overlords.
Yeah, we're waiting on the overlords.
Go yell at them. Don't yell at us, please.
Ozauki is probably the most shocking result for me right now.
Yeah, 99% in, and it's only R+6.
Are you seeing 99? I'm seeing 90%.
Jeffrey Skelly from 538 says per DDHQ 99% reporting. That might have been a typo, but
yeah, I think it might be a typo because I'm seeing 90. Oh, how do you say that? Eau Claire?
Eau Claire?
Eau Claire. Eau Claire.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, no.
Where's Eau Claire? Oh, there it is. Oh, wow.
Uh-oh. No, senor.
That's quite blue.
That's pretty substantial.
Yeah, that was Biden. I'm going to get this up for people. That county was Biden plus 11, and it was a combined D plus. No, it was combined D plus 30 in the primary. So, like, you get weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right, because that would be, yeah. Okay.
Protasewicz, I think that's how you say her name, is above 80% in Dane County.
That's scary hours for Dan Kelly.
Oh, And that was before the drop that the chat just mentioned that puts her at 81%.
Jesus.
It's 120. It's like 116 vote margin right now. 16,000 vote margin for to say what's in Dane County right now.
That's...
Ouch.
Oh, okay. So Jefferson County's all in. It's going to be Kelly plus 6.
Oh.
And let me see. Give me some time. In the primary, it was R plus 10. Yeah. R
Okay, that's not a catastrophic. That's a bad underperformance.
No, but you also have to remember, though, that Democrats won that combined primary vote by 8%. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's not ideal for Kelly. It's weird being a Democrat and being happy about election results.
I feel like Democrats have had an unbroken string of being happy about election results since about fall 2020. It's been almost 3 years, I feel like.
Yeah, no, it's a weird feeling, and I keep waiting for it to change.
We might have, Ozalki's 100% or 95% in. Kelly plus 6.
Oh.
That's really bad. I'm telling you guys, the election denial stuff just does not play well in the suburbs.
Who could have expected that?
Hey,
we're all shocked.
It's not like Republicans are about to nominate a presidential candidate who's talking nonstop about
the fraud. Fraud.
It's not like your leading candidate just shot up in the polls after getting indicted.
Okay, so Ozalki was Trump plus 12. In the primary, it was R plus 14.
Democrats up 1,300 votes in this special election.
I'm gonna guess that's the Milwaukee portion dropping in.
That's
gonna be close.
Gonna be close. Yeah, wow. Protasewicz might get over 40% in Waukesha.
That's fucked.
Someone in the chat just goes, bro, why are my unelectable candidates losing?
Who knows? Wait a second. Owning the libs is not a good strategy for a general election?
Oh my God. Just so funny.
Are you sure? I feel really owned right now.
So actually, Democrats might win this special election, which would be absolutely completely shocking and embarrassing for the Wisconsin GOP. This is a Trump plus 8 seat that even Tim Michelle's won.
Left failure.
I mean, they're currently down 2% with 85% reporting.
I will point out the Times is now knocked down to 85% of votes instead of 90.
Right. Okay.
Where?
The special.
Oh, okay.
And okay. I think, have the overlords called it? Come on, overlords.
Come on, overlords.
People are calling it here. I want to go to sleep and eat my dinner.
Yeah, I could go for some food right now.
Don't worry, everyone. I will keep tweeting numbers even after our overlords have called the race.
Come on, overlords. The other overlords have called the race. Please.
Who are the other overlords? We get 2 overlords.
There is an individual overlord that many people might pay attention to when calling races.
Oh, that overlord. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that overlord called a while ago.
Oh, and another overlord just called.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Overlords. Come on.
Sir, why are you up at 4 a.m. on a Tuesday?
Wait, who is this?
In the chat.
Oh, is he in Europe? That's actually
European man. Go to sleep.
Why are you doing this to yourself?
If I want to be clear, when I am abroad next semester in Copenhagen, if I am ever awake at 4 a.m. to watch a state judicial race results, I need you guys to fly over the Atlantic and put me out of my misery immediately.
Don't worry, I
We're
got
not trashing you, buddy. Eric, we love that you're here. We love your passion for the American electoral process. But, buddy, go to sleep. Buddy.
We admire your passion, but we're confused by it.
Yes, that is the correct way to go here. Kraz, you're going to Copenhagen?
I am going to Copenhagen.
He's going to Copenhagen.
Nice.
Dylan, we're truly losing Kraz. He's going to Copenhagen.
Can I come with you?
Does Rutgers Law offer a study abroad program?
They do. I don't know how realistic it is, but they do offer it. I've looked into it a couple of times.
Right.
Dylan needs to go. Dylan needs to go to someplace fun, like Holland.
Like
Dylan needs to go to Holland, where they have all the fun stuff is legal in Holland. That's where Dylan needs to go. Yes, go. Thank you for the Red Wings. Thank you for winning tonight. You have continued to help improve the Washington Capitals draft position. Thank you for that. God bless you, sir.
Oh, you have no work tomorrow. Okay, well, that's a lot better. If you had work tomorrow.
Yeah, I would have told him to go to sleep if he had work tomorrow.
Yeah.
I have to work tomorrow. I don't want to work tomorrow after this, but now I have to.
I
have to go to shithole work tomorrow. I quite like my job. My job.
So Protasiewicz is going to win Kenosha by 8%.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
I only have one class tomorrow, so that's
nice. I love my job is actually very nice. I don't know if any of the people are listening on this, but that was said in jest. That was said in jest. I quite like my job. Okay, the overlords have called it. Woo! This race is over. Decision Disc HQ is now called that Janet Protasiewicz has won the Wisconsin Supreme Court election and has thusly flipped this election to the liberal majority, which means it is 10 o'clock Eastern time. We are going to leave. Gentlemen,
okay.
Final thoughts.
This is a really embarrassing loss for the Wisconsin GOP. Protasiewicz, given her performances, might win by double digits. Given the fact that this was a GOP that looked like they had a lock on the state for decades after 2016 and now is on the verge of losing almost all of their conceivable power in the state. This is pretty embarrassing, and I'm not sure what the state party over there is doing.
Well, hey, the state party is at least doing better than Michigan's and Pennsylvania's, so there's that.
Hooray for failure! Hooray for the lesser failure! Good job, everybody. Good job.
Hooray for not
getting a job, but anyways.
Hooray for not last place, but it also looks like the special election has gone to 51-49 for the Democrats. So, woof.
Yeah, God bless failure.
I'm safe to tweet out that Protasiewicz has won.
Right? Yes, you're good. Good night, everyone. We will see you probably in June next for the Virginia primaries for those for some key House of Delegate and state Senate primaries on both sides of the aisle. That will probably
do elections weekly.
Maybe we might do elections daily this week. We'll see. We're all very busy. But for now, folks, this is goodbye. Thank you all for coming in. Have a great rest of the evening.